So there's a lot of reasons to feel jaded about South Africa. And today's just not one of them. My friends, it is Thursday, and from Club World Cup wins to world records on the track, we're spotlighting South Africans making headlines for all the right reasons. Plus, consumer inflation holds steady, Metro cops may get an upgrade, and a recent passport blow that you might have missed. Let's get into it. And kicking us off with current affairs, a new credit rating system from TransUnion and MTN is changing up the game by turning your phone habits into a financial rating. Launched this week, it's called the Telco Data Score, and it uses call activity, who you phone, how often, and how long to predict how likely you are to repay your debt. I don't know. The logic here is that the consistent phone use supposedly reflects stability, social reliability, and spending patterns. And for millions of South Africans who have no formal credit history, that could unlock access to loans for the first time. But it's not without concern. You see, the system pulls what's known as call data records. This is metadata like call times, duration, and cell phone tower locations. And look, under RICA law, even law enforcement needs a judge's approval to see that. Yet here it is being handed over to credit bureaus with only your consent, managed via MTN. Look, it's a leap forward for inclusion, but it also is a test of how much privacy we're willing to trade for financial visibility. And next up, Metro cops may soon be doing more than just traffic stops and freeway patrols. You see, a new proposal from our police minister would give them expanded powers, including the right to question people about their immigration status, enter private property in domestic violence cases, and shut down businesses breaking the law. So the idea here is to make local policing more effective in tackling urban crime, especially in the CBDs with hijacked buildings, illegal operators, and stretched staff's capacity. Look, it's a major shift. Metro officers were originally created to enforce bylaws, not handle serious criminal enforcement. Supporters say it's a logical move. Critics, however, say it could stretch oversight and muddy that line between local enforcement and national police duties. And onto our quickfire mentions. South Africa has officially dropped out of the world's top 50 passports, now sitting at 51st after losing visa-free access to Nigeria. And here I was thinking we were friends. Grade 10 to 12 learners in KZN are finally writing their mid-year exams this week after delays caused by teacher protests and a funding shortfall that left schools without basics like ink and paper. Wishing them all the very best. The students and the teachers. And South African fossil researcher Dr. Tebogo Makubela has just been named a National Geographic Explorer for his work on Homo naledi. This is a major global nod for our local science. Congrats, sir. And on to our finance section. Consumer inflation held steady at 2.8% in May, matching April's 5-year low and landing comfortably inside the Reserve Bank's 3 to 6% inflation target band. The major surprise here, though, is that cheaper fuel is doing most of the heavy lifting. While food prices continue to rise, up 4.8% year on year, transport costs dropped sharply thanks to a 15% plunge in fuel prices. So housing and utilities also edged higher, but not enough to upset the balance. Economists say that stability reflects weaker consumer demand and fewer supply bottlenecks, but warn that it won't last forever. See, oil prices are climbing again, and July's interest rate decision could hinge on global risks, from the Middle East tensions to Trump's threatened trade tariffs. For now, though, it's a welcomed breather, and while risks certainly remain, economists say that South Africa's inflation outlook is in far better shape than it was a year ago. And onto our quickfire mentions, Sasol is back in the JSE's big leagues. Its share price has nearly doubled since April, fueled by rising oil prices thanks to this Israel-Iran conflict, as well as a bounce in investor confidence. The government is partially lifting its ban on Brazilian chicken imports after last month's bird flu scare. That's good news for low-income consumers and school nutrition schemes that rely on imports such as polony and other MDM-based products. And Starlink is making its pitch again, offering to connect 5,000 rural schools if it is allowed to operate in the country. The only snag here is that BEE laws still require 30% black ownership, which Musk's team is trying to sidestep harder than Chez and Colby on a counter-attack. And onto our sports section. Mamelodi Sundowns just gave African football a reason to cheer, beating South Korea's Ulsan 1-0 to claim the continent's first ever win at the new format FIFA Club World Cup. And look, this wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Sundowns outclassed their opponents with crisp passing, tight control, and a team performance that had fans literally singing in the rain. Their opening goal was ruled out, a second flagged offside, but the third one stuck, enough to top Group F ahead of the upcoming clash with Dortmund. And look, this is a turnaround moment after falling short in the CAF Champions League final. Now they face the German Giants on Saturday with real belief. A spot in the last 16 is actually up for grabs, and this time they've shown they belong. And onto our quick fire mentions. Springbok lock Eben Etzebeth says that he is fully fit and ready for the international season after months of concussion setbacks. He's calling this year's Boks jersey his motivation, not his farewell tour. Thank God for that. The Proteas Women just wrapped up a 2-1 series win against the West Indies, with coach Mandla saying that the team is still not at full power, and that's the exciting part. And in Premier League news, the fixtures have dropped. We'll see Arsenal face Man U at Old Trafford on the opening weekend, while Liverpool will kick off their title defense at home against Bournemouth. And before we get to the wildcard section, here is your Bagel Bite of the day. Which of these countries has the highest number of official languages? Is it A, South Africa, B, India, or C, Bolivia? And for all the brainiacs out there, how many official languages is it? We'll give it the answer at the end of the show. And onto our wildcard section. Look, we don't say this often enough, but South Africa is winning right now. In sport, in strength, in speed, in sheer guts, our small nation is punching way above its weight. Oh, you don't believe me? This year alone, we've got the best rugby team in the world, the best test cricket team in the world's strongest man, the fastest 100-meter men's sprinter this season, the fastest 800-meter women's sprinter this season, the top-ranked men's 100-meter relay team, the world's best surfer, and yes, a UFC champion. And I'm certainly missing others. As Maximus Decimus Meridius once said, are you not entertained? And that's not a hot streak, my friends. That is a nation in form. And in a world that's always telling us what's wrong with South Africa, it is worth pausing for what is right. Because right now, across stadiums, beaches, tracks, and cages, South Africans aren't just competing, we're dominating. And as for that Bagel Bite, the answer is Bolivia, officially recognizing 36 languages in its constitution, the most of any country in the world. India is in second with 22 official languages, and surprisingly, South Africa comes last with just 11. My friends, that's it for today's show. Thanks for watching, and just a reminder, if you'd rather get your news on the go, you can now listen to Daily Bagel on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Links to those are in the description or in our bio. Hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Cheers.